So forgive me, I cannot count, but I don't know what episode we're on. But like I said, I'm here with Chrissy.
Stop.
And we're going to talk about My Hero Academia and Jesus Christ All Might. And in his word.
Christ.
So by far, this is one of the best series I've seen since Naruto. Because I love Naruto. Little quick summary of like the show so far. It's about Deku, as we already know, who is the main character, who has no powers and what they call quirks in this world. So apparently he wants to be a superhero like the all-powerful All Might, who is currently, like I said, holding the position of the strongest superhero that there ever was. So he goes to school, and as you already know that you probably might not know, who knows, but he doesn't have superpowers, and everyone else in his class has quirks, and they all want to go to this specialized school for superheroes. So one day he actually runs into the all-powerful Jesus Christ, and next thing you know, he bestows power upon him at some point because he felt like Deku was worthy, and he wanted to save people because he was willing to risk his life even without powers. And as we go throughout the series, All Might is of course almighty and all-powerful, and Deku
he's not.
All right, he's not. He's like nigh.
He's got about 2 hours of his All Might powers, and then he turns into
Some
what
scrawny
I
guy.
affectionately name a crackhead. That's what he looks like.
So but yeah, so one of the best shows. Now of course I'm terrible with names in real life, so I'm not really good with names. I grew up with Naruto, so I know all of them by memory. But so I'm calling the ice and the fire guy half and half. So you'll see the images on the screen and you'll know who I'm talking about. Anyways, your thoughts?
Well, I think he is just an amazing character. I think it's interesting that he took the stance that he would not use his father's side of the quirk, because in that particular relationship, and that his birth was a result of quirk what did they call it? Quirk mining? Like they
would try to breed quirk so that way they would get 2 people to get married, so that way their children would have like the ultimate quirk.
Exactly. And now his father is the number 2 superhero right behind All Might. So he just hates him, but he's still a superhero, and he actually looks like a villain. But so I think it was interesting that he went through the exams and decided not to use it until he was able to come to terms with that he's really strong, like really strong with both sides. Strong with just one, but extremely strong.
I feel like My Hero Academia, like I said, I'm just gonna always make this comparison. Even when I was watching the series, I feel like it had that Naruto dichotomy where it's like Deku is the main character who is, potentially is gonna be the most powerful, and you have half and half, and you have Grenade. I forget if that's his actual name.
His Grenade?
It might be Grenade. Well, I'm pretty sure Grenade, he has an explosive Kirk who was
his
at one
arch
point
nemesis
Yeah.
that he grew up with, his
Yeah.
best friend, yeah.
who previously was his best friend, but I'm calling him Grenade because he has grenades on the end of his costume, so it makes a whole lot of sense. But it's Baku, there we go. So I feel like it's gonna be like a Naruto Sasuke-esque kind of relationship where you're starting to see, even for the first 2 seasons, it was just like he's starting to hate him but respect him at the same time, and he wants to get stronger than him, and they're both adjusting the way that they do things in response to each other, which is like I said, is definitely going to be a great, wonderful story to see how that. Honestly, I see Deku turning out to be a villain at some point, because maybe possibly his hatred and whatever might turn him that direction, just
Deku?
because he might. There's a possibility. I'm not saying that's a fact, but possibilities.
I mean, anything's a possibility, and I do enjoy a good villain, especially one that used to be really good and save all the people, and then they turn around and say fuck you and like destroy everything. It's my kind of stuff. But I will say, in the opening scenes of the theme song, it does say like, watch me become the greatest hero. Like, this is the story of how I become the greatest hero. So I think we're watching that journey.
Definitely.
As for Baku being his arch nemesis with Sasuke, I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to say that it's going to be half and half. That's going to be his counterpart, because already he said that, like, I'm just going to be better than you. and it makes Deku better because it makes him it makes him try to do the right thing every time. So I think with Baku, you're gonna see a turn in him. I think you're gonna see him realize that all these years Deku that he was abusing emotionally, and physically too, he's a fucking bully, that he is someone that he could stand behind. As much as he wants to be in front because he's a big old whiny baby.
I mean, I definitely, it can go either one or two ways. It can go that way, that's not very far-fetched at all. It's not like a, foreign idea. But I feel like, since we are going through that journey of why am I forgetting names again? Jesus Christ. That Alzheimer's is kicking in.
It's only 2 seasons.
That Alzheimer's is definitely kicking in. It's very real right now. So, the main character, Deku, there we go. But, yeah, pretty terrible. But he's definitely telling us the journey of how he became the superhero that he's going to be in the future. So one thing that always seems to turn out that way is friends that end up turning into enemies and enemies that end up turning into friends, which, like I said, would make a very compelling story where, like, Baku really was aiming to be a hero, but something along the line deterred him, and now he's on the side of the villains.
He'd be stronger on the villain side anyway.
Yeah, I feel like he would be more of a problem as a villain,
than a good
and
guy.
That relationship would really be in jeopardy when they're on two opposite ends of like this moral compass kind of thing, where it's like they have their own ways of achieving. Because ultimately, it's like the hero killer, where he thought he was doing good because some heroes weren't worthy to be heroes because they did it for like the sponsorships. And
here's the deal.
So he was technically a villain. He was like a villain, but he was actually more of an anti-hero way.
Yeah.
When he would kill the villains who weren't necessarily genuinely villains, he actually reduced crimes in the areas that he killed the villains from. So it was like, was he really a villain? He was a little harsh, but ultimately his goal was to make people safe and take out the fake heroes from the real heroes.
Exactly.
And he did do that, and it did work. So, I mean, I feel that's the same thing with Deku and Baku, where it's like they could be on two opposite ends, and it's just like two different means to achieve the same goal.
That's true. And just to talk about the hero killer's quirk was...
What was it?
It was the blood.
Like, he was a vampire, basically?
Yeah, for fake. Like, if even a little gash, a little tiny drop, and he could
paralyze
your body. Like, that is badass. That's badass. I mean, it's gross, too, because you have to ingest someone else's blood. But, like, in terms of quirks, like, to free someone, or even the kid... I forget his name too. The one that Deku was fighting, that the second you spoke to him, he had you under his spell, under mind control. Yeah,
that was a pretty dope power, because like it can happen. Like he did it. What was it when he did the match? He actually did it to his
the person before him.
Yeah, before him, like before the match even started.
Yeah.
So the whole time he's already been under his mind control. And I was just like, that's a problem too. He would make a very great villain, honestly.
Yeah, I mean there's so many good quirks that would make such good villains that I'm excited to see, because I feel like there is no show, no matter how terrific the hero is, without this epic bad guy. You need the villain, and you need a good villain. You need a ruthless villain.
Or at least some sort of catastrophic event where it can possibly split the superhero community. I would say like a civil war kind of thing, like in Marvel.
I mean,
but not as cheesy though. I just feel like it's because don't even get me started about that. That's like a whole nother episode alone. But I just feel like there's something has to be big enough where like either they come together or they fall out and kind of separate. Or, like I said, just this villain where it's just like
or he unites all of them.
He's Allah. Like, that's just how like a villain has to be. Like, he has to be up there and like in power and as well as ideology.
Well, isn't that what One for All is? No, All for One.
I mean, it's, based translation, whatever, same thing. But
No. That's what the bad guy is.
No, the bad
bad guy is All for One, because All Might is one for all.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So then that's what he would be, because he's the one that's behind that crazy guy with the anxiety in the hands, and so he's scratching.
But I want to know who he's working for, because All Might is afraid of somebody.
One for All.
Yeah. I keep forgetting for some reason. The One for All. That's the guy he's afraid of, who he initially fought, and he was the one who wounded him.
Mm-hmm.
And come to find out from I think it was like the second to last episode in the second season where he told that one all for one was the guy who actually initially started the all for one power.
Yeah.
Where he gave it to his brother who was Kirkless, and as the power gets passed on, it's cultivated and it gets more powerful, and it just keeps getting passed on. I think that's a dope idea in itself.
Totally. And I think they retain like partial strength of the former the former heroes that had it, because when he was about to step out of bounds in the exam fighting the guy with the mind control, he sees them like in like silhouettes of them in the corner.
Yeah, like previous past. It was like an Avatar: The Last Airbender moment. You saw your past lives kind of thing.
Yeah, like all the people that had the power before. But I'm interested to see how that plays out when people start to find out that you can actually give a quirk. Like, what does that mean?
But I think that's the reason why you have to keep that secret, where like very limited people know. If people knew that you can give away that kind of power, especially at this point, because All Might, like I said, is the most powerful superhero, and he was really,
he's like Superman. He's so cool.
So whether people want to believe it or not, but he still went toe to toe and beat him at some point for the All for One. So that means as it gets passed on, as cultivated, it gets even stronger as time passes. So if you can manage to coerce somebody to give up the power willingly or something like that, then the world really would be like falling into disarray, because that amount of power alone, like if your single upswing of a punch can change the weather, that's it. Who else is like stepping in the ring with you? Nobody.
Yeah.
So it's just but we're only on season 2, so let's see how things turn out. The show is fantastic so far, and we of course are going to keep you updated on every single one of those episodes and reviews, and
that's right.
And just so people know the scheduling, like I said, we are going to be alternating hosts. So my boy Marlon will be coming back for the following episode, but also we'll have Chrissy come back as well. And then some episodes we will have all three of us, and we might have a special guest as well for certain things like Dragon Ball Super and all that. So like I said, if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. And
don't forget to comment.
Yes, we like the comments.
Talk to us.
Communicate and all that, because in any relationship period you have to communicate. It is important you communicate, and we will catch you all the next time.
Bye guys.
Peace.